What's up, guys? Rattlesnake Patriot back again with another video from Higby. He's on a college campus somewhere. I'm not even sure where, to be honest. And he's having a conversation with, I believe, a woman. Not trying to be mean, just not 100% sure. About how men can't be women. So she's gonna, for a full hour, not gonna have any ability to understand basic facts and logic. So this one's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna obviously do the full hour. But in about the first 10 minutes, everything gets hashed out to where you can kind of understand that she's not gonna comprehend anything he tells her, no matter what. So let's get started with it.
Using each other.
What do y'all want to talk about?
Yeah, we have two signs, men can't be women and deport all illegal immigrants. It's your choice.
Okay.
And just remember, you kind of have to like get really close to the mic.
So men can't be women.
Yep. You can,
Can you explain?
Yeah. So men can't be women. The definition of a woman is an adult human female. The definition of female is a person who falls into the sexual category capable of producing.
Sorry, can you talk a little slower?
Yeah. So a woman is defined by Oxford as an adult human female. A female is defined as a person who falls into the sexual category capable of producing ova. Men cannot fall into that category, therefore they cannot be female, and by nature of not being able to be female, also cannot be women.
Okay, so you're talking about the female sex.
Well, yeah, because in the definition of woman, it requires you be of the female sex. It's an adult human female, according to Oxford, which is the most credible dictionary in the English language.
Okay. Adult human female.
Yep.
So what about minors?
Minors aren't women. We wouldn't.
Okay.
He just told you what he's talking about. A woman, which is an adult human female, and she then asked about minors. No ability to understand anything. I really don't understand how this woman is in college or even went to school ever.
We would look at a toddler and say that's a woman. We would say that's a girl, right? Different.
Okay, so, just for sake of conversation, are you just talking about adults?
Well, it depends on how you want to take the conversation. I don't think that children should be allowed to transition their sex. But like, we're talking, men cannot be women, is what we're arguing. Men cannot be women. Adult men cannot be adult women.
Okay.
And the definition
Do you wanna-
remains, the definition remains the same, we just removed the adult part from it.
Okay. Can you explain why you think that?
Yeah, I'm just logically following the definitions of each and realizing that it is impossible for men to be of the sexual category capable of producing ova. By virtue of that, they also cannot be women because that's inextricably tied to the definition of woman.
So you seem like you're going off of the Oxford Dictionary to be like the ultimate authority.
It is the most
On
credible
this,
dictionary
like-
in the English language.
Okay.
If you have an alternate definition, we'd love to hear that as well.
Okay. Can you give some more background? Like, I don't believe that somebody would have this strong of opinion and be like, well, it's what the dictionary says.
Yeah, I don't favor lying to people. I think that calling a person something they are not is a lie, especially if they're mentally ill and believe that they are something. I don't think that we should feed into their mental illness and make their mental state worse.
But I'm trying to go back to, okay, the start where you're like, my basis of this belief is that I read the definition of a female in the dictionary.
Yeah, words mean things, yeah.
That's a good one.
And so I wouldn't say that.
Not allowed, right?
But that's, I just have a feeling that you wouldn't go this fucking hard on something because you read something just in a dictionary and you're like...
I mean, I also have friends who have been affected by this specific issue, like Paula Scanlon.
She thinks he's going this hard on something that is the most basic of all logics you could even imagine. Children and dogs know the difference between a man and a woman. And he's going hard on it because he read the definition, he agrees with the definition because he stated facts to back up the definition from Oxford, and that's going hard on something. That's very interesting. Again, they are so brainwashed, they have no ability to comprehend or use any critical thinking skills whatsoever.
Who had to change right next to Leah Thomas in the UPenn women's swim locker room out of her wet swimsuit, which took 20 minutes to get on and off, while Leah Thomas's penis was hanging out. So I obviously I have strong feelings about this. I also have a girlfriend, and I hope to one day have daughters.
That's my thing for me, right? I'm
Okay.
not just married to the truth, but I have a niece. And I look at that as one day also having a daughter. And all of these things, it may just be a definition for you, but words mean things. And they have impact on public policy, like bathrooms, locker
Okay.
rooms, whatever the case is.
So what's your feeling? I know this is kind of getting away from like trans issues, but how do you feel about co-ed saunas, nude saunas?
Well, those are run by private institutions. So if the private sauna chooses to have it be co-ed, then that's their choice. And if people choose to go there, that's their prerogative, right?
Okay.
But if you have a public institution, like a state university, that is requiring women to change in a room with men and not accommodating them with separate facilities, that's a problem for me because it's taxpayer funded and there's no other option.
Okay. So I hear that your friend was like really uncomfortable changing in the same locker room as somebody who has a penis. And
All right, so I don't know if you caught that there, but she described Leah Thomas as somebody who has a penis. That is all part of the indoctrination that this person has been subject to. There's a reason why we have words. Words describe things. For instance, I would not tell somebody, hey, guess what? I woke up this morning and I looked out my window and guess what was standing in my yard? A furry animal with 4 legs and antlers. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say a deer. That's why we have words, so that we don't have to describe everything in every detail. That is the whole point of a language. But this is how they brainwash these kids. A person with a penis, to make it sound like, oh, this is a person with a penis. We can't really say what that would be, even though we know it's a fucking man, right? If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a damn duck, right? And she has no ability to recognize that because she's been trained. She's been brainwashed to think that way, or not think that way, in my opinion.
what was her like solution, or like what would she have wished had happened? Would she have been fine if she was in that locker room and she didn't see genitals?
Well, that's the nature of a locker room. If you see genitals in the locker room, there wasn't a solution. She had to go the rest of her college career with Leah Thomas in the locker room. The school threatened to take action against them if they complained about it or made a public fuss about it. So they had no option. It was either be kicked off the swim team, something they loved doing, or essentially have to stare at a man's penis and have that man stare back at them for the rest of their swim career. And to be clear, Leah Thomas,
I seriously doubt anyone was doing any staring in a locker room.
Leah Thomas is a female attract.
Yeah, he goes on, Cam's saying here that Leah Thomas is a female attracted man. He dated a girl, when he was on the men's team, he dated a girl from the women's team. Yeah, if there's a locker room with a bunch of ladies and a man, there's going to be some staring going on, maybe on both sides. That's awkward, that's weird. So yes, there was for sure in this situation.
Man who had previously dated a woman on that swim team and then transferred to that swim team from the men's team after they had all, if you're at a school and you play on a sports team, you know the opposite team, right? They knew William Thomas, be a member of the men's team, and then all of a sudden their coach brings William Thomas into the girls' locker room and says, this is William Thomas, he is now Leah Thomas, he will be swimming with you guys for this until the end of his career. He is a woman now. He will be changing it.
I just like,
without taking any drugs, no certain period of time or anything like that. Just, I'm a woman, and now you can compete in women's sports against women and change next to them. 2 feet away from them.
I have compassion for your friend because it sounds like she was uncomfortable and it didn't seem like there was much effort done on anybody's part to like make sure that this like very vulnerable environment of a locker room so many things are at play, whether it's gender, the culture of nudity in the US, all these like sort of taboo things are like very much on display. And so I have compassion for your friend.
What do you think about
So,
And it was the whole team too, by the way. The whole team was uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
The majority of the team, they just couldn't speak out about it.
so
But then they make it okay. This is the crazy thing to me is that the women speak out, they're uncomfortable about it, and then they're told by the administration that they needed to go take classes or be in safe or in places where they can learn about why this is okay.
And that they did do that, and so they weren't indoctrinated enough. So Penn State's like, well, we got to get them indoctrinated properly so we can have men in their locker room. That's what it was. They somehow fell through the cracks. Maybe they went to church or something.
Say I'm uncomfortable, but now the administration is forcing you to go take some classes or courses in order for you to understand why you're the problem. That's a problem that I have.
okay. Well, yeah, maybe there could have been more discussion and like there could have been more steps taken to make sure that everyone was comfortable.
Just to believe that biological men are women, that is the solution. That is literally the answer to it all. Because if we don't have to play these fantasies, especially like if you want to do this at your own house, I don't care. You want to go to the bar and identify as a woman so you can get a cheaper drink? I don't care. I have a problem with it when right? Right? Let's do that. But the reality is I have a problem with it when it's things like this. And you just said that you understand why a person's uncomfortable. You don't like that a person's uncomfortable. And now we double it down by letting the administration say that they are the problem.
I think though that, I don't know, maybe it's important to address though why, like, this is what you've chosen to focus on. This is what you've chosen to focus on. You haven't chosen to focus.
You're the one that picked that side. You could have picked that side. We could have been talking about deporting illegal aliens. You want to talk about deporting illegal aliens?
She said, this is what you've chosen to focus on. And the thing is, it gets thrown in people's face all the time. The transgender deal has been thrown in everyone's face. And if you don't like it, you're a bigot and you're a homophobe and you're all this. But the biggest thing is if you can't agree on something as basic as that men can't be women, how can we debate on anything else? If that's a struggle for you, you're going to really struggle with economics. You're going to really struggle with tax policy. If there's really no point in debating anything else if you can't understand this one basic fact. And so that's, to me, why they bring it up, because the truth matters and words matter. And what a word means matters, because if a word doesn't mean anything, then no words mean anything. And if no words mean anything, then we don't have a language. We can't communicate. Nothing is true and everything is true all at the same time.
No. I mean, you've chosen to make this the focus of a public debate.
It's one of two.
Right.
You chose it.
And it just seems like
And when
people who...
And she didn't even, when she walked up, she read the two signs. They talked to her about the two signs. One was the immigrants should be deported, and all illegal immigrants should be deported. And she jumped right into that one. Of course she did. Of course she did. Because that's what's the most important to her.
Don't agree with transness. Just do a lot of cherry picking, because we could be having the exact same conversation about indecent exposure, you know?
I don't agree with indecent exposure either, and I think transgender people do it a lot.
They're doing a lot of cherry picking. Then she brings up indecent exposure, and she has not provided 1 ounce of evidence how men can be women. Not one. It's apparently just how she feels, and really just how she was taught to feel is really what it comes down to. But she has not provided 1 bit of evidence for how men can be women and women can be men. They have provided all sorts of facts, and she just denies it.
What?
I don't agree with indecent exposure either, and I think that transgender people do it a lot. I spent a lot of time doing this in West Hollywood, and it's not a pretty sight.
I mean, look at the Pride festivals, right? The Pride festivals in LA.
So they go on here for another 50, 60 minutes or whatever it is. It's about an hour long video actually, and there's not a whole lot more that gets done. And at the end, she says something to the effect of, "Well, yeah, you know, some people's opinion, it would be right to shoot you guys for saying what you did, what you say." So she just said at the end, before she wrote off, that, you know, some people would say it would be morally right to shoot you in the head for what you did, what you said. And I mean, that is the most ridiculous thing. So then, wouldn't you say that Nazis probably thought it was right to shoot people in the head when they went against the Fuhrer? If they were Jews, didn't they think that was right? So just because somebody morally can say that it's right to shoot somebody for their beliefs does not mean it's right. But I just wanted to show this to you guys because these people are all around, and this is an uncut video. They're not putting words in her mouth, and that's how bad the indoctrination is in this country. We need to take our schools back. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.